on Footmex Live.
Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show on Footmex Live. I'm your host, Wiso Vazquez from FootmexSource.com, and alongside three guys that know about L3, they breathe it every single day. Guys, meet Johnny Rico, all the way from San Diego, from Tijuana, usually writes for SoccerLeague.com. Johnny, how are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. Another week, another day in Mexican soccer.
Oh yeah, good. Just a little background there. Are you in jail? Is this your last phone call? What's going on back there?
No, today I'm at the Soccer League offices, the editorial offices in Soccer League.
They put you in the hallway, huh?
Yeah, they took the show was a bit too much for the office to handle.
Nice to have you on. Jason from Soccer Mexicana, how are you doing today, sir? I know Cruz Azul, and I feel for you. And last week, you had the best week ever, and it just goes down. Other than Cruz Azul, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, although I'm also a Liverpool fan, and I was just... today was, let's move on. Things aren't great.
If it wasn't for America, I'd make fun of you.
And obviously, you have the founder of the Villas Army, one of the best guys that I know of, especially that follows El Tri, with a great-looking scarf from Pancho Villas Army. Sergio, how are you, sir?
What's up, brother? Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. No face paint this time. What happened?
It's a bit of a letdown.
So
When you're trying to put a 10-month-old to bed, man, it just consumes your day.
Dang on.
Next time, I promise.
All right, guys. Well, we have a great show for you guys today, guys. Only 40 days, actually a little bit under 40 days to the World Cup. We will be there in Brazil. Talking a little about L3 today on the show. The list of 23, we're going to give you the 23 players that are going to go as much as we can. I think, Piojo is going to have some kind of trick up his sleeve that we all don't know about. We're going to be talking a little bit about La Volpe. Just touch a little bit on La Volpe, no pun intended. And also go into... crazy weekend at La Liguilla, so many goals, so much drama. The teams that made it are in 2, 4, 6, and 8. Are there conspiracy? Is it the Illuminati? A lot of things to talk about today, guys. But first, two guys that are on the show. Before we talk about El Tri, I feel for you, America, and I feel for your Cruz Azul. Leon did make it, as you can see. How many of you guys before? I'm just gonna question it. How many of you guys have Leon winning the whole thing? Right? Anybody there? No. You still don't? No believers out there still. All right, guys, before we go into it, let's talk. El Tri, 39 days until we're in Brazil, until we start playing, until the list of his 23 will make the final 11 and will be on the field. Guys, what are your concerns? What are you hoping for? I know we're only a couple days away from his final 23, so tell me, throw it out there to you. Sergio, 39 more days. Let's start it off with you, sir.
Man, just extremely excited. Can't wait for that 23-man list to come out here this week, and just hoping the team can gel. I mean, we're very close. Very
close, indeed. We're almost there. It looks like it's coming, but it's not fast enough. But we don't want it to be that fast. We need more time. All right, Jason, how about you, sir? Less than 40 days.
I'm just really looking forward to just following the Piojo Twitter account, seeing where it leads us. It's really like this rabbit hole of adventure, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I'm really hoping he really channels his inner Coach Taylor, and he really brings out his. Really, I want more inspirational quotes. I want more pictures. Just keep it coming.
Well, he is everywhere. I mean, he looks like he's a baseball aficionado. Going to all of these different. Throwing the first pitches, trying to get signs, autographs from players. I think he was where was he? Johnny Wrigley Field.
He was at the field last week, and he's at the Angel Stadium today.
So I suppose that he's promoting the what it is, all the games that are coming into the U.S.
It's very important.
I don't think it needs. I mean, you just say, hey, Mexico's going to play in whatever stadium, and we will be there. If Mexico's there, we will come, regardless of where it's at. That's just how it is.
Hey, Wiso, La Pioja's with him, so just to let you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Pioja or Piojita?
Piojita.
Oh, okay. The daughter's there. Hey, Johnny, what were you saying?
Yeah, going back to his Twitter account, I'd love to see his Twitter account get hacked, and all of us at media outlets just go publish something extremely crazy.
And then he comes back, I got hacked. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Hey, Piojo Gates.
There's
All
like a
right.
25% chance he has a "I got hacked" moment coming at some point here.
Dude, that's good odds for that. All right, guys. Well, Johnny, so 40 days. What do you think? 39, actually.
Well, actually, I'm like the rest of the guys, excited, but more like let's get this show started. Enough, like I get a little tired of the speculation, so I want to get the speculation over with. I want to get that final roster list out. I want to stop debating who's gonna make it, who's gonna not. Which there's plenty of on this show, but that's the lifestyle we live, right?
That's right. You're just touching something very, very important. He says something. He says, you know what? I like Corona today. I like his jersey, and all of a sudden everyone runs with it. That Corona's definitely in. He mentions Torrado, he mentions Salcido for whatever reason, and everyone's they're definitely on the list, and everyone runs with it. Gio wasn't going to make it because of Pulido's contract, and all the media. And I'm not saying that it's the storylines, but everyone runs in speculation. Now they're throwing in that Salcido's coming back, and it's just all the madness that goes in. So good thing you touched on that because we don't know. Like I said, I think everything's going to be fine, but at the same time, who knows? Big question we talked about last week is Gio. Is he going to stay? Is he not? Memo's not going to come. Is he going to throw a tantrum because he's not starting? It's all speculation. But why do we speculate? Because it has happened before. Bella not coming, Memo not coming. Bofo going. You have all these different things that everyone doesn't. What's going to be the drama this time? So I'm sure that's why everyone speculates. So, for me, like I said, I've been saying, I can't wait for it to come. Not only because I'll be there, but because I can't wait for it, man. I want L3 to be there. I want it to start at 11. I want Cameroon to be there. I want all this to be done. But at the same time, we have 4 games before we get there, and I like analyzing how we're going to look. So that takes us into 4 more days, right, into the final 23. It's finally here. Everyone said he was crazy. Why is he releasing it so early? But we had some other coaches today around the world that did release their lists. I think Honduras, I think Bosnia also did it, So there's coaches that will be releasing it before the final 30. Obviously, Piojo decided not to go with the 30, and it will be published somewhere by FIFA. But he's going to give 23 players on Friday. We are going to have a special show for the list coming out. We'll have Tom, we'll have Eric, and we have Naive all the way from Spain. We'll be analyzing the list, picking it apart, what we're liking, what we don't, all the surprises, and we'll be doing that on Friday. So definitely stay tuned for that show. So, guys, let's talk about before the list comes out. Let's go quickly, but at the same time, let's dive into the 23 men. And we broke it down for you guys out there. Obviously, let's go with the keepers, right? There are only 3 spots, 3 keepers that can go, and we talked about it last week. Usually, the third keepers just kind of go in there. For looks, the experience. So let's get your 3. For sure that we know, right? Corona is probably the lock, right? I'm saying 100% he's definitely going. That's everyone, and looking at anyone who thinks not needs to do a little more research. Obviously, Ochoa and Talavera, and you have Moises Munoz, who are in the questions. 2 spots, 3 keepers. What do you guys think for sure? I think we're all in unison, but let's hear. Johnny, who are your 2 that for sure are going to go, so other than Corona?
I'd say Corona and Ochoa have to be the for sure ones.
Okay.
The debate has to be up in the air between Talavera and Munoz. And I think it's going to be Munoz because the third goalkeeper is really not going to play. He's just there to fill a roster spot, to, like you say in Spanish, crear a grupo. Be a guy in the locker room. And if Herrera's taking his guys that he trusts, if you're going to have a guy just to fill up the roster spot in the locker room, it's got to be Munoz over Talavera.
Interesting having Munoz there, and it is, just like you said, not really doing any purpose as a third keeper. Jason, agree with Munoz, or are you going to go with probably the best keeper in the Liga this year?
I agree. I think the same thing. I think there's an outside chance that you have some sort of odd thing where Ochoa gets left out quite unfairly, but the odds are that it comes down to Talavera and Munoz for the last spot, and Piojo goes with his guy Munoz, and that probably makes the most sense. That's what I see happening.
Nice. Munoz, unless Ochoa says, I don't want to go because I want to start. And if you're not going to start, I've been there already. I've done it. I've been to many World Cups, 2 of them at least. So I won't go. All right. And then Sergio, what do you think?
I don't know. I got to disagree with these guys. I think I have to disagree because of what Johnny said. He's going to take guys he trusts. I don't think he trusts Ochoa. And I don't think he's going to tell Ochoa he's got the starting role. So I see Corona, Talavera, and Munoz heading out to Brazil.
All right.
Thanks.
I will go with. I'll disagree with all 3 of you. I think Talavera is there, and I think that'll be the big shock. Which Munoz not going, and it's going to be the 3 best keepers in Mexico, and he'll do it right. Talavera, obviously Ochoa, and Corona. Just because I don't want to go with you guys, but now I'm thinking he won't. I think we all speculated he was going to be even starting, and I think ultimately he'll try to bring the top 3. All right, so we have the keeper situation pretty much. Everyone thinks it's going to be obviously Corona, Ochoa, and his boy Moises Munoz. I'm thinking it's Talavera, but that's the 3. Not a lot of drama there. Not anything to talk about, guys. Let's move on. Let's move on to the defense. We're thinking 8 spots. Right, and from what other coaches have done, he does run he has 5 in the defense. So let's go down to the for sure's. Moreno for sure. Rafa, he said it was Rafa and everybody else. Layun, which is the guy that's in the wing, probably the only lock spot. Paul Aguilar, just because there's nobody else in that other position that I can see. Reyes informed that he is playing regularly in Europe with Porto, and I would even say Massa is a lock, although pretty sketchy this weekend in the defense. Let's just keep Massa in there as a lock. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have spots for 2 more. Who else do you guys think is on there? We throw in a Ponce, Guardado. Who else do you think is running for that spot in that maybe list of 30, possibly more that's there?
I think, like you said, there's 2 spots up for grabs, and Ponce and Guardado are fighting one of those spots, and I think Topo Valenzuela and Enrique Perez are fighting the other spot.
Okay, Enrique Perez.
Honestly, between Enrique Perez and Topo Valenzuela, neither of them are realistically going to see any playing time. Master Rodriguez will come off the bench before they do. So, again, just because of the group environment, he'll probably take his America player, which is Valenzuela. And on the Ponce and Guardado debate, that one is actually for the number 1 backup position for Layun. So I think he goes with the better option, which at the moment right now is Ponce.
Ponce. There he is. So Johnny pretty much knocked it down with two spots. Obviously, Ponce and Guardado fighting for 1, Topo and Perez fighting for the other one. And I definitely agree. Jason, who do you have between Ponce and Guardado? Or maybe somebody different?
No, I agree completely with Johnny. I think that's exactly how it's going to be, Ponce and Topo. And I don't know. I'd just like to say that I'd like to see some of the other guys that they're not going to be there. They're not going to be considered. But I'd like Severo Mesa. I'd like Hugo Ayala. These are guys that who I trust more than we're talking about bringing in Topo and Massa. Like these guys, like they're just like they're going to be there, but like come on. They're not so much with the defending, so it's kind of frightening.
And you're right. So we have 2 spots, and so Ponce, Guardado. So for sure, who's your guy that's going to be there?
It's going to be Ponce, and it's going to be Topo. Those are like you have the 6 definites, and those will probably be the other 2.
No Perez and Guardado staying, which will be the big shock on the defense. Sergio, I know you're crunching the numbers, looking at your list, man. First of all, what do you see?
No, I think it just scares me, the lack of depth. I mean, I think we all agree Ponce and Topo, those are the 2 guys. Guardado's just lack of playing time and how fragile he is, or has shown to be in the last couple of years, just scares me. So as a Mexico fan, looking at my defense, I'm a little bit worried.
Very nice.
I actually think like the lack of playing time for Guardado has helped him because we watch him play less. Because when we watched him play, it was that bad. So like him playing less might actually be to his benefit at this point.
And there's questions: is he getting back on injury? And we've talked about almost every week what's going on with Guardado. there's what should happen and what Piojo's thinking, and having Ponce probably being the guy that's there, and who is he going to bring? Is he going to bring Guardado, who has had 2 World Cups and the experience, who's had so many caps? It's funny. You look at the international. You talk to a lot of people outside of our Mexico and of the people that know the Mexican soccer, and ultimately when we talk about international, players, they do say Guardado, Gio, Chicharito. People are always referring back to Guardado if you're looking at that. So, is he going to make it? I think that he shouldn't. I think Ponce should. I think Guardado's not playing. We don't know what's going on. What has he done? We talked about it on the last show. Guardado hasn't done anything since 2006, really. With the national team, a couple goals here and there, a couple in Copa Oro, obviously, but he hasn't done anything, and we're still waiting for that Guardado that did that against Argentina. So,
But Valencia couldn't wait to offload that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just dying to get rid of him somehow.
And everyone feels bad because he's just not making it to it. But I feel bad if he's one of my favorite players, but at the same time, I think Ponce should be there. And between Topo and Perez, I'll go here with Topo just because, even though his nice goal that he had last weekend in the wrong, it just doesn't stop. It's Massa one week, Topo the other, Massa and then Topo the other. And,
They're just not very good.
gosh, but at the same time, who else do we have in those positions? And I keep saying it, even if it might be somebody just a little bit more, it's not like someone that goes in and goes, yes, I can give you much more. They're backups anyways, Massa and Topo, that are going to be there, hopefully. Who knows? I did see that Johnny's probably battery died, so he is no longer with us, had technical difficulties. So if he can get back on, if not, we'll take the show. He probably doesn't want to be on because of what's happening with America, and he's just too heartbroken for it. So who knows? But
Started getting a little misty there.
A little misty on it. He does have a lot. So sorry, Johnny, if you can't get back on, that'd be great. But if not, then we'll just keep going. Okay. So we kind of did that. That's 2 spots. Obviously, just kind of recap. Moreno, Rafa, Layun, Aguilar, Reyes, and Massa are in. We're going with Ponce and Topo to fill those 2 spots. And that is 8 defenders. Guys, the mids, here's where it might be a little question. Is he going to take 7 and then he's going to take 5 forwards? Or is he going to take 8 mids and only take 4 forwards? So let's do a scenario really quick. 7 mids right now. The for sure's, right? Probably the number 1 guy that's playing the best, Montes, right now. Not only because I'm a Leon fan, but I think he did phenomenal. Gullit, although we haven't seen a lot from him, he's being subbed. I think he's definitely in. Medina, that's one of the Americas. That's one of the guys. Not a lot of choices with the DM position, the defensive mid. Brizuela is knowing, obviously Piojo saying one of the best guys probably about a month ago, and he's still keeping that rhythm. And obviously Herrera with an amazing golazo, if you got to see it this weekend. Just a little volley off a corner and then gets into him from outside the box and just volleyed in there. If you haven't seen it, definitely YouTube it and look at it. Herrera did an amazing job. So I think those are the only definites. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have room for 2 more, possibly 3. So, guys, who jumps out on you that's in that list of 30, and who's in there?
I'd say Fabian. Fabian's probably going to make it, and I'd actually say Jesus Molina. Okay. I think is my other guy. I could see him making it. I think Vazquez gets lost somewhere. I think Aquino is going to be left out. And so I think they probably end up with just the 7 and saving the 5 spots for forwards.
Okay, so Vazquez, Fabian, Aquino, Molina. Can I even say Torrado? I mean, is he going to need somebody? Is he going to need somebody to bring in? He's not playing horrible.
For a yellow card.
Obviously, if we don't bring Torrado, we will be card-free in the World Cup. But for the experience, I know Rafa is there, but who else other than that? I don't think is going to be there. But I think he's in that list. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in his 30. List of 30 before I cut some. So Vazquez, Fabian, Torrado, Aquino, and Molina. Definitely not Zavala. Fighting for 2 spots, possibly 3. So who do you have? Sergio, your 2 that are going to be in there out of those 5.
Yeah, I think he's going to go with seven midfielders. I don't think he's going to go with eight, and he's going to save that top spot or that last spot for a fifth forward. But I think I have to agree. I think it's going to be Fabian Molina. Molina's one of his guys from America. That's who he feels comfortable. Gallito has pretty much disappeared. Aquino is a big one that we've all talked about not making it. I mean, he was fundamental in the Olympic run, and now he's disappeared, even though he's playing regularly with Villarreal. So that's a surprising one for me. But I mean, I think I agree with you guys. At this point, we're so close that the list has really shrunk, and Fabian and Molina are the two guys.
Fabian for sure. I think he'll be in there. What he's shown and what he's done this whole season. I probably would go with Vazquez over Molina. I think he's, he does connect with Montes very well, and especially if Montes is going to be a starter and has obviously connected with Gullit being in Leon. But
He's probably the only real, true defensive midfielder there too.
Yeah.
Because it's not Medina's real position,
Nope.
And certainly not Herrera's real position. So he's the only true one. So him being left off, it's a little frightening.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with. I think Vazquez is in, and I think Fabian is in. I think Aquino and Molino and Torrado are out. Aquino, there's no room. There's no room as much as he's playing.
He's a true winger.
He is a true
There's
winger.
no winger. He's a true winger.
Yeah.
4-4-2. I think he will get lost in that 5-3-2 formation, and I think he's not going to make it. And it's sad, but at the same time, the coach system goes. Unless somehow he does get to 8, I think Aquino is in, but we only have 4. And I think we're all hoping that 5 forwards go in. But let me just tell you, let's say he has 4 forwards. Who is your next guy? Obviously, I picked Vazquez. You guys, Molina. Is Aquino probably the next guy other than Torrado? I would think so. If he does end up taking 8.
I think it would be Vazquez and Molina.
Yeah.
I don't think Aquino's going. He's not. He can't be in central midfield. He just can't be there. Honestly, he's not a bad defender. He's a pretty good on the ball defender, as much as Aguilar is. I mean, you can't experiment, but I'd love to have him at the right wing back position, but he's not going to be. But it'd be fantastic.
He's way too small to be a defender. I mean, at the World Cup level, I mean, he's just way too small. He might have the speed, but he gets thrown off the ball so quickly.
He does. He does jump out of there. But we'll see. We'll see how it is. And it isn't a time for us to start experimenting. Other than that, bring Jonathan Dos Santos in. Come on.
Let's do it.
Right? I mean, if we're looking for DMs, and we have 9
Well, if we're
games
gonna get
to go.
pictures of the locker room, he's the only one who can do it for us.
Yeah, as somebody said, maybe he. I guess he is looking to go on loan, and hopefully he gets better. It's the kid that we always want, but it's never going to happen. It's the greatest fan of all time.
What about the other Chico on that?
Tecatito Corona?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Tecatito.
yeah, give him a chance. But
Tecatito, that's what I would take.
You only have 4 games everybody's in. I guess 90 days, 100 days out. Yeah, give these guys a chance, but they're not playing. I think those guys are 2018.
Light, right?
Well, did you see what he did against Chelsea?
Nope. Who? Tecatito?
Tecatito, yeah.
No, I know he. I know he scored. He was.
Oh man, he made him look ridiculous. He just flew down that left wing.
All right, so 2 spots. So we'll give it to you guys. Say Molina and Fabian. I say Vazquez and Fabian. Good thing that Fabian is in there, but at the same time, who knows? We have seen he did say that he's not going to stay 6. He can change to a 4-4-3. 4-4-2, 4-3-3. Maybe he won't stick that 5-3-2 formation that he loves. So we'll see where he goes from that. Let's move on to our forwards. Probably this is going to be the controversy if he chooses only to take 4. I think if he chooses to take 5, there's no question on the 5. But if he does choose to take 4 or take 8 mids or even 9 defenders or keep it with 8, 7, and 5, I know it's a lot of numbers out there. The for sure is 100% Peralta and Chicharito. There's no way those 2 guys are off the list. And then the gray areas, obviously, Jimenez and Gio and Pulido, right? If he is taking the 5, I don't think there's anybody out there unless you guys can think of another forward. I think those are the top 5 that he knows in there. He did say that there was 6, which I don't know who the 6th one is because Aldo de Nigris hasn't been playing, and he hasn't been playing for Piojo at all. So
Or he was just saying numbers. Like he,
Oh,
he
he's
could have
just
just been
saying
just.
numbers. He's like, because
Yeah.
actually, I did add up all the numbers he said. He said I need 7 this, and I got 9. It only added up to 22. So he doesn't even know
Right.
what
No,
numbers.
it's just saying
My
numbers.
math, I was going crazy on how many times he needed 3, and he only has 5, and blah 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 blah. We'll give it with the 5 forwards. But let's say he does take 4. Who's out, guys? I'm thinking Pulido is out. I've been saying it for a long time. I think even though he's this last year he excelled, but I think out of them, from what he's been working with Jimenez in his relationship, I don't think Gio is out. At all. And then obviously put out the Chicharito. But Jason, if you only had to pick 4, and he does only take 4, who's out?
That's like I honestly have no idea at this point. Like it really could be Polito. That probably makes them like that's like the logical decision of those 5. I think if someone's getting left out, but like I also think there's a pretty good chance it could be Gio if one of them's gonna be left out. I think all 5 are going, but if one of them's gonna be missing, like we're getting into territory where someone is going to be like this is going to be a serious snub, and so it's going to be one of those 3: Polito, Jimenez, Gio. And it's going to be crazy. One of them's going to be stuck. If one of them's stuck at left out, it's going to be crazy.
Yep. Sergio.
Yeah, I think the real fight is between Pulido and Gio. I think Jimenez has 1 foot in more than the other 2 guys. So if he only goes with 4, I think Jimenez can pretty much lock himself in. And between Pulido and Gio, I really like Pulido. I think he's that type of striker that just finds a way to score, but he doesn't really give you anything different than Chicharito. I think if you're Herrera and you only take 4 forwards, I think you have to take Gio for that potential spark. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. You never know. He can give you that goal that he gave you in 2011. I don't think Pulido can do that.
I mean, there's something to be said for like maybe he doesn't want disgruntled Gio on the bench. Like maybe he doesn't want him sitting there like fuming that he's not playing and he's not in the spot where he needs to be. Like if there's an argument to be made for like why he made the decision Gio stays home, like that would be it.
I don't know why. I think if it wasn't the media, if it wasn't trying, him not getting it, he's not a true, forward. He wants to play here. It doesn't fit in his system. I don't think we would be thinking about that. But obviously that's what gives us the consensus of Gio not staying in. I really don't think Gio is coming out. But you guys do. I think I'm at peace. Gio's going 100%. I feel that, and I know some of you guys aren't.
I think,
they're all
we're taking 5. We're taking 5.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's just no way. We're taking 5.
And that's what I'm saying. I think 5. Hey, no question. Johnny, he's not on. He would argue that he's only taking 4. But obviously
crazy,
Johnny didn't
that
prep
guy.
and hooked up his battery. Americanistas.
Hey.
Oh, I'm just joking.
There's so
All
many
right,
of them.
guys. So that's the 23. So, it seems like a hard choice. I think the big news will be Aquino, not making it, and other than that, Guardado not making
Guardado.
it. So those are 2 euros that are doing. One of them is playing, one of them is not. And obviously, if he doesn't only like to take 4, that is Pulido or Gio, as some say, not making it. The controversy of the final 23. But I honestly think, just like you guys, 5 it is. So. Any thoughts on the final list? Anything that you guys would like to add? It comes out on Friday. Where will you be at? Are you ready to go? You ready to see this and analyze it?
Yeah, having a big roster release party over here in suburban New Jersey, so it's going to be huge. Throwing a big bash.
We're all out there. All right, guys. What about you, Sergio?
I'm hoping he tweaks it a little bit early and we all jump on it. But really,
he
I
will.
think.
Oh, yeah, he will. Oh, man. He's like, press conferences, let's say 11 a.m. At 9:30 a.m., he tweets it out. And it's going to be like in everybody's...
Got to get those retweets.
He'll miss one. He'll miss one like he did last time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. That's right. There was one that he missed. He'd be like, whoops. Or he added 25, and it was supposed to be 23. It's gonna be madness. I think it's going to be hilarious.
But I'll tell you this much, though. I think compared to other nations that are releasing the 30-man roster, and he's telling you right away who the 23 are, I think that's significant, man. I think that lets the players know who's not in and who's definitely in. And there's no hurt feelings like there was with Jonathan Dos Santos and the huge scandal that erupted right before the World Cup. I think it's clear cut. Unless one of these 3 guys gets hurt, you 7, You're just here to practice.
Supposedly, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but the reason
No.
why he's doing it is because he was left
Sounds
off.
good.
He was left off the '94 list when he was a player, so he doesn't like the 30. I don't buy that. Come on, you're Piojo. It's not like you're gonna hold a grudge for that many years. So,
But look at the scandal that Jonathan Dos Santos and his dad started
that's
a
just
week
them.
before the World Cup.
That's just them. I mean, it wasn't really a scandal. It was him being, crying about it. Oh, I shouldn't have been left out. I mean, Bofo coming in. He was the RG killer. He was he was bringing him in.
Well, it comes from 30. Like,
What, Jason? I'm sorry.
oh yeah, it's like, but what good comes from naming 30? I mean, like, it only serves to like kind of undermine the group a little bit. Like most teams can get over that, but like, are you really gonna like bring in, and you're really gonna learn so much in like a week about like which guys you really want to bring? Like, it's crazy.
No, and I think it's always been because you bring 30 players because FIFA demands 30 in case you want to bring someone in that's injured. So you say those 30, all 30 go to camp, and 7 are going to get cut. If you know that from the beginning, you're trying to see that, and you've been playing out there. But Piojo doesn't like doing that. I don't mind it. Everyone's making a big deal out of it. I think a lot of other nations are like, "Whoa, he's not naming his 30." I'm like, whatever. It's 23. It's Piojo. We do things our way, and he does it. That's the way he wants to do it. It lets
Well, and
us
like Jason said, like Jason said, we used to call 30 players before when we had a 60-day training camp. You could learn something in 60 days. You're not going to learn anything in a week and a half. So I think Piojo did the right call.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those are his final 23. Everyone's having release parties that will go. We think he's going to tweet it out before and probably mess up a couple names here and there. And we'll see where that goes, guys. Anything else on L3? Any other news going out around with Mexico, which is so close to the World Cup? Nope. Good. I think we're good. All right, let's go into Liga MX and the craziest weekend. But first, we'll touch on, no pun intended, with La Volpe. La Volpe gate of what was happening, the craziness of accusations, and Johnny. Too bad he's not here because he was our expert in the La Volpe gate, what's happening. But I'll throw it out there, guys. I just have one question, and if you don't know, obviously there were some accusations, and lawyers are coming in. Vergara had a press conference that said, "Hey, you know what? La Volpe's not longer the coach." Accusation from some type of masseuse, a podiatrist, I think. A podiatrist that massages feet, and supposedly there was something that happened. Then it came out there was sexual advances. Then it came out some more. Now, finally today, with one of the newspapers, if you did read it, that he did not only did he ask for a massage, but there was definitely he's wanting more stuff and forcefully grabbed her, according to her, of all this. So it's pretty serious. You look at both sides. I think everybody jumped to the gate. Oh yeah, La Volpe. He would be someone like that. Look at the guy, I mean, coming in very, you could see it, we're jumping in. And at the same time, Vergara should know 100% what he's getting into. If there's something that the guy knows is business, and he's not going to go through that unless he's 100% sure he could win, I would think. Or we look at, La Volpe getting the whole team. He's getting the lawyers from, Carlos Salinas de Gortari, and he's getting the best lawyers in town. And it's going to be a matchup, and ultimately. But my question is this. This happened 2 weeks ago, 18 days ago. Vergara waited this long. I mean, if this comes out, I would think that the very next day, and you get those accusations and you go, I think they're about to play Pumas. So let's just say Pumas, let's say they got in. The Chivas got in. Do you really think this would have been out? All this, or is it gonna, would he have this La Volpe drama if Chivas was, in the playoffs right now? I don't think so. What do you guys think?
I think it's hard to say. Like, I mean, it's a messy thing. Like, I hate to speculate on it. I don't know like exactly what went on. So like it's a messy situation. It's hard to judge anyone too critically in the situation because you don't know exactly what's going on. So it's hard to say. Like, people will jump on Vergara and say like he's doing something wrong. It's hard to say. Like, and it's a messy thing. I know it's been like I could say for sure that it's been handled horribly by Mexican media, by taking the accuser and publishing her photo and things like that. Like, just really disgraceful stuff.
Nothing new.
So, I mean, yeah. So it's an ugly situation. It's hard to really comment insightfully on it because it's hard to say what's going on.
Yeah, it's that mentality that we have, oh, let's add this, it's her fault, it's his fault. I think it's obviously, touching on it and talking about it here, it's just, hopefully everything gets resolved and the drama that goes in, it is Chivas, so it's like another thing that they have to worry about. Not only are they fighting relegation next year, they're going through this and finding a new coach. Sergio, anything to add for it?
I'll say this. I'll say I'm a huge America fan, but the drama that's been surrounding Chivas, and this just kind of adds another layer to it. Who's ever right, who's ever wrong. I'm not going to discuss that. Sexual assault, sexual harassment, something terrible that should never occur. But I think it's just one more thing that Chivas fans are just tired of. Mm-hmm. You have to ask yourself, is Vergara making the right choices from the beginning? I mean, who's La Volpe? La Volpe was a coach who had a lot of success in 2006 and before, but since then, I mean, has he really been successful? He went to Costa Rica and had drama. He went to Argentina and had drama. Hasn't been successful since 2006 World Cup, in my opinion. Why would you take a gamble on a guy like this?
Very true, very true. Everyone thought it was ridiculous that La Volpe was there, and he tried to do that. I don't think we saw the team change much, and it's exactly what we should be talking about is the football and all the drama. Bringing this up, hopefully if it gets resolved and it doesn't take too much attention from the Rio football news, but I still think, you can't trust the people that are running the organization when there's so many problems, and everyone goes back to Vergara. And like I said, I'm thinking, would have all this come out if Chivas would be in it? I don't think so. I think they'd be like, whoa, let's wait till everything comes down and then bring it on. Well, it's so important, and if this really did happen, you should jump on that. I don't think that would have happened anywhere else, at least in the U.S. So, but moving on. Hopefully it gets resolved and. It doesn't take too much time, but at the same time, hopefully justice gets served in either party, whatever happened. We don't know if she's telling the truth. There's nobody there. It happened late at night and all of this. But
well, I will say this, though. La Volpe said he walked in with a towel. If it's a podiatrist who does a foot massage, why would you walk in semi-naked with a towel on?
Yeah.
Right? What are you just walking in shorts?
Or obviously you'd say no and leave. I mean, he kept doing it. So, and we don't know. It's he said, she said.
Exactly.
And one thing, my question is, what facility, professional facility, there's only one person there at night, or the safety of that person. It's like, I'm thinking, if you go in, I need to get my foot rubbed. There's a receptionist, or there's an office, or something. You don't. Who's walking in with a towel? He had to see a couple people, or I don't know. And that's just where my mind starts going. I have no idea who's right or wrong, but there's something weird about it. And hopefully, like I said, it doesn't take away from the football news. That's about enough time we're going to talk about that. So I don't think it needs any more. So let's go into it, guys. La Liguilla. Let's go into it. Another crazy weekend. 18 goals, right? I thought it was a success. I thought it was exciting. I like this format. I don't like, knowing that my team is already qualified 3 weeks before or 4 weeks before. Bayern Munich, going into the Champions League, was already qualified. I believe that. I like it. I like this playoff format. That it's exciting for me as a fan. I don't know if it's the best for the country and for national team having this this format, but 18 goals in this exciting weekend. Obviously, America going in there and thinking that they have it all ready to go. Leon fighting, like everyone's waving them off. They weren't going to make it. Guys, what do you have to say first? Not necessarily on the games, but was this expected? Or were we going to have another boring weekend where the winners were supposed to win? What are your thoughts on what's happening?
Well, just to touch on the format real quick, I like the playoff system. People complain that it's two different tournaments. You can play a horrible season, get into the playoffs, and make a good run and win the championship. Yeah, you can. But in Spain, Atletico, Barcelona, and Real Madrid had the league tied up in January. It's between those three. So there's no difference. I think we have a competitive system. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. I think it leads to games where you have a 5-3 scoreline, in the first game, and then the 3-1 scoreline in the second game. Just exciting soccer all around.
Exactly. Like I said, Bayern Munich, I think that's why they lost. That's part of the reason they lost in the Champions League. It's like, all right, well, we're done. We'll focus on that game 2 weeks. I don't like knowing. I mean, I guess it's fine. Reassures me that my team's already won, but there's no hope. And obviously, that's why they have 3 other tournaments running at the same time. I think because sometimes the very top ones, and I've come to realization that in soccer it's different. The winner should always win. The Americans and the Cruz Azul and the Chivas, those should be the best ones. But it doesn't happen like that in every other sports, unless like NBA. You're looking at it, baseball. It's not the same. You always have the people that are there. But something about football, and the winners have to be always the winners. So let's talk, Jason. Obviously the format, giving you a little bit of. We've been talking about it. Do you like it? Do you like this? This playoff? Do you want to go kind of the Spain? Because I think your Cruz Azul would be number 1.
Many titles over the past 10 to 15 years for Cruz Azul if the playoffs didn't exist, for sure. Although maybe if they knew they didn't exist, maybe they would muck it up another way earlier in the regular season. But no, I'm not a playoff guy. I'm not a playoff guy. Like in the U.S. right now, like all the push has been over the past couple of years in college American football for a playoff, and I'm like the one person in the world saying like, no, we really shouldn't have a playoff. Like playoffs render regular seasons meaningless, and to varying degrees. You mentioned the NBA, like there you go with an absolute meaningless regular season where people just check out. They don't pay attention because why do you have to? You have so many teams qualifying for the playoffs, and it doesn't matter what happens. Seeding is basically irrelevant, and that's what we have in Liguilla, where you have nearly half the teams qualify for the playoffs. So once they qualify for the playoffs, you achieve that. Anything you do past that is meaningless. You look at Cruz Azul, 13 points above León. They have absolutely no advantage going into the Liguilla, and that was they finished that much higher for a reason, in that León was focusing on Copa Libertadores. But you finish like the 1 seed, you should have some sort of an advantage. And 2 years ago they did. Like before the away goal rule was instituted, there was at least a slight advantage where over the 2 legs, if with an aggregate tie, the higher seed moved on. So like, okay, there's a tiny, it's minute, but it's there, and it would have made the difference for Cruz Azul this weekend, being the higher seed with an aggregate draw, that they would have moved on. But so the away goal rule is terrible because it was instituted. It's used in Champions League. It makes sense because it doesn't follow a 17-game regular season where there's something to break a draw. And it's also where you use it in Champions League and tournaments like that, where you're playing midweek games and you don't want to play extra time and add time onto midweek games where you're going to have to go back to the weekend, and it's really going to hurt you so much to play all that extra time. These are the playoffs. Why not play the extra time? Why not look at the 17 games that came before and use something from that to say who's going to move on in the playoffs? So, it sounds like sour grapes, but and it is. By all means, it is. But like, the away goal rule is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I get on board with the playoffs because it makes sense. It draws extra money. It's excitement. Yes, it's exciting for these couple weeks, but it was a complete lack of excitement and interest. And you look at some of the empty stadiums around Mexico, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And I don't think it's necessarily a problem because people are watching at home and tuning in and a lot of TV dollars that way. But there's no excitement because, like, okay, Cruz Azul, like, they've known for like 6 weeks they're going to be in Liguilla. So what's the point? There's no excitement. It doesn't matter what happens in these games. You mentioned Spain. That is exciting. Like, you have three teams fighting for who's going to win the title every single week.
But how
if
often
anyone
does that
slips up,
happen?
it's massive.
When's the last time it was this close between 3 teams
How
in
often?
Spain? It's usually,
it's pretty rare, but you
it's
usually have the 2 teams.
How many teams had a shot the last week of the Mexican regular season to get into the playoff? That's exciting. You had 5 teams competing for 2 slots.
It is, yep, and any one of them can win the title. It definitely. So I'm not like, I don't think Mexico should scrap playoffs. Like, it works. But don't ignore the regular season completely, like they're doing right now. It's ridiculous.
I'll play devil's advocate here, Jason. Here's my thing. I think you do have an advantage from the regular season. If you're a higher seed, you close at home. Closing at home is a huge deal. You see teams.
I don't think so.
I think it's a huge deal. If your team can't handle it at home, America included, then it is what it is.
I'll give you. I think not necessarily those. I'll give you the away goal. I saw that in the Copa Libertadores. I see that it just happened to help me out. You're looking at that. The Conca Champions for you. I think it helped Cruz Azul. It just goes either way. And I just think it's. Yeah. I didn't let him play.
It's a crap rule.
I think it's crap rule. I would agree.
Well, but if you go with the higher seed wins on a aggregate draw, does the higher seed team really have anything to play for?
I mean, they're playing for a draw. Why can't they just go to penalties?
Well, I would agree with you. I'd rather go to extra time.
Draw. It's still 180 minutes to get a draw. Yeah, that would work for me too.
I would just go to the extra time, see what happens, and you'll do that. There is a home field advantage as being number one. You are going there. You do have your fans that are there, and to say that fans aren't anything else, I like that. And then just go to the extra time and do that.
Close at home, dude.
You always see more goals in the second game too. Like the second match, you always have more scoring. Teams are pushing harder, more goals, more away goals. That the first match, like there's such. I don't know if there's that much of an advantage to playing the second leg at home. And like a lot of the advantage of second leg at home came with you're going to play extra time, and so you'd get that extra time at home. But like without that, like there's such pressure to put a goal in the first game to get that away goal with the away goal rule that I don't know if there's a ton of advantage to having the second one at home.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll give you that. Obviously, we're not going to find an answer for us, but it's a good discussion. Everybody has obviously their opinion, and you're only bitter. I was too. Whenever your team loses, especially the way Cruz Azul lost. I do have to say this, Jason, and not because I'm a Leon fan, but at the same time, it was the champion. You knew that it was going to be a hard game. If it was, I'll give you if it was, a Cholos, if it was Chivas, if Chivas would have snuck in there, and obviously beat Cruz Azul, yes, and it goes back either way. The worst team is beating the first team. It was Leon. It was the champions. The four are in, that were in last year. You have the same four that are except for one. So, it's I think it's pretty regular, and just like you didn't want Leon and you wanted whoever else. I saw it. I saw it's going to be a tough match, but I believe with you.
They got the worst draw. They got no advantage from being number one this season.
Yeah.
I mean, Leon snuck in because they just snuck in the last week, and Cruz Azul had the worst draw out of everybody.
Yep. And it was hard. So let's go into really quick at the games. America Santos, going in 5-3, a hat trick by obviously the guy that everybody wants to do the same thing at the World Cup. Jimenez, 3 goals. It was a crazy game. I was paying attention to it, and then I had to do something else going in. I'm like, what is the score line going in now? Who's winning? Santos coming back. Obviously, it ended up 5-3. What happened? Going in 5-3, and then Santos, that fight at the end, Massa doing his thing, so I'll give it to you. Obviously, Americanista, looking at your team, and good thing Johnny's on here because I think that's where he would go off. But Santos having the worst defense in the league, and 3-1 in the next game. What happened?
I have no idea. People talk about Cruz Azul having a fracaso this year. No, I think America has had a fracaso. You saw a Santos team that collapsed against Lanús. You saw a Santos team that collapsed in the first leg, and we go and we lose 3-1. We don't attack. We know that we can do damage to Santos. Any team can do damage to Santos because they have a weak defense, a weak back line. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is attack and pressure. You saw it in the first game. Mohamed saw it in the first game. You put a little bit of pressure at the midfield. You push up. You come up with numbers, and you can penetrate that defense. I don't know what happened. Mohamed just sat back. I think if you're going to talk about fracasos this season, it's America, not Cruz Azul.
Interesting. It's like, what hurts more, the fracasos? Jason, if you saw the game, obviously you saw, just a flat America. I mean, I don't know if they thought they had it. It was 5-3. We got this, and 1 goal came in, 2 goals came in, and they were just giving so many spaces out. What did you see? What's your take on the game?
Just definitely way too cautious. They sat back. They tried to defend, and they can't defend. They don't have a team to sit back and defend. Mohamed is used to that, but this America team is not that. Push as hard as you can, get more goals. I mean, you get those goals, you're going to win. And they didn't until too late, and they got in trouble. Just like Sergio said, like that Santos back line and the way Oswaldo Sanchez is playing lately, you're going to get some goals. Just push, they didn't, and they got burned.
Yes, they did get burned. Switch it over to the next. Obviously, what everyone else was talking about is Cruz Azul and my Leon. Obviously, it was going to be a hard game. Them squeezing in. It is Leon the campeón, like I've been saying. Going in, 1-1, and then the 2-2. The rain effect, Cruz Azul. Let's take it to you, Jason. It's your team. I would have just been so upset at the way that they just they scored 2. I think that's a bigger fracaso. And I'm sorry, Sergio, but you're up 2-2 in your house as a number 1 team. I think that's a bigger fracaso. I know that America went in there, they just kind of get off, but at least they were away. This was in your home, raining, which I think would have hurt Leon in the way that they're always in the, I like to call it Tiki-Taka Esmeralda of El Bajío. But, I would have thought when it started raining, we're down by 2. I seriously just went, I'm checking out. It's over. Cruz Azul, they were going, they were attacking and they were doing what they needed to do in the beginning, going through the wings and going up. Then they just set back. It's like they score, they're there, and they also have Leon, who has come back, who has that. Was that the coach? I mean, can we blame on what he did? Because I think Matosas, his subs and everything worked perfect for Wonders as soon as it looked like it started raining and Leon just kind of took over. Jason, tell me about your love of Cruz Azul.
I feel like Cruz Azul did the same thing they always do. I don't think they were out of character. They were playing, they were pushing. They're always going to be in trouble against Leon because they can't possess the ball. They can't control the ball. They push forward and they gun forward, send in the long balls, and Leon can sit on the ball. And Cruz Azul can go through big periods of time where they look like they haven't had the ball for 20 minutes. They're sitting back and they're just taking it. And then that's what they always do. And they're always going to have that slop fest defending and give up a bad goal. And that's exactly what happened. Those last couple minutes of that first half and probably the first 15 minutes of that second half, they were just under fire, and Leon was controlling every facet of the game. But Cruz Azul wasn't doing anything out of character. They weren't really trying to sit back and they didn't seem to me that they were really doing anything different than they normally do. They just weren't getting the chances, and Leon was just playing really well. Now the second goal came just ugly, an ugly display from Cruz Azul. Gave it up way too easy, but they do that. I mean, this is not out of character. And honestly, if Cruz Azul just put away one of those chances toward the end, it's a completely different story. You guys want to rant on curses a little bit, about super leader curses? I could go on for a while about this, but there are no curses involved here. This is not a curse. This was Cruz Azul playing their game and losing. There's no curse of the super leader. It doesn't exist. As I mentioned before, it's playoffs. Any team could win, any team could lose. I mean, it's just that's the nature of soccer. So when it comes down to just this one game and one goal here or there, the team loses. There's not a Cruz Azul curse. Cruz Azul are not a cursed team. They're a team that are a good team and are in the playoffs, and they end up losing a lot because, I think there's something to the fact that the players on this team feel the weight in the big moments of all of the near losses, and they need to perform under that. And that definitely came up in that final with America. But, I mean, there was nothing in the 180 minutes of this game.
Tenna. They have Tenna, the golden speech.
So what? Were Cruz Azul not motivated to win those games? Did they do something so terrible that showed they absolutely crumbled? No. They played, they lost to a good team. It is what it is.
No, I can't argue with that. They did lose to.
They didn't lose. They got an aggregate draw.
They tied twice to the.
They did not advance.
They did not advance. Really quickly, Sergio, Leon, and obviously not as passionate as my friend Jason, but what did you see on that match?
No. I mean, I agree with you guys. I think Cruz Azul got the worst draw. Leon's a very tough opponent that just did not focus on the league. They snuck into the playoffs, and it was really the worst seed. that anybody else could draw, and unfortunately, Cruz Azul drew them. I will say this though. Keep saying you're not cursed, 'cause that's what Cubs fans have been saying for about 100 years, and you both wear blue, so be careful.
Team colors.
I'm a Red Sox fan. Like that was the talk always. Like, oh, the Red Sox curse. Like, okay, that's just crap. Like it is what it is. You know.
So we'll celebrate a victory in 21-17.
All right, guys. The other game, Pachuca and I don't know where. I think nobody had Pachuca and Pumas, but at the same as expected, Pachuca and Pumas 1-1, and then so many goals, 4-2. Enrique Mesa, doing that. Anything to add on that game? Was it expected? I think many had Pumas kind of going in there, but Pumas finally did what everyone thought they were going to do, and I mean, for a horrible season last season, and now having this. Jason, what did you see on that game? Was it normal, or Pachuca scoring?
I just think I was really surprised by the Pumas' performance in that second leg, where I really don't know what to expect from Pachuca. They could really come out and put up a lot of goals that they could completely fall apart. But Pumas, that defense, they just were non-existent. Like some of those goals that they let in, it was just off free kicks, were just standing around, not marking men. Like it got real ugly. I was really surprised with how they performed at home. Like just real ugly from them.
Yeah. Sergio, Pumas Pachuca game.
I think Pachuca advancing is the biggest surprise of the Liguilla so far. What's surprising is Pumas playing so well this season, but then seeing the Pumas from last semester in this final game. So it's been a weird Liguilla, and it's been a weird season altogether for Pumas, and they kind of reverted back to last semester in his last game, and unfortunately for them, Pachuca made them pay.
That's right. And then the final game, obviously Toluca and Xolos Squinkles from Tijuana, 0-0, and then 3-1. That 0-0, it's like you're coming back and you're going into one of the hardest stadiums, and then 3-1. So something to say about that game, Jason. It wasn't a surprise. Everyone knew. No. Everyone expected. I think Xolos obviously had it was the worst out of the 8 that were going. They had it tough against one of the better teams. But going in, what did Toluca do? What it's supposed to do? That goal by Ponce was a highlight, definitely, for sure.
That was beautiful. Yeah. No, I think Tijuana played pretty well, considering I think they were up against probably the toughest opponent. So they played pretty well. They fought pretty hard, keeping Toluca out of the away goals. They had a pretty good chance heading into that second leg, and they had their chances to come pretty close there. It looked like they had a pretty good shot at getting a result. They just Toluca did what they do. They just ground them down and got the result in the end. Just the better team won. So. Probably the least surprising result of all the results.
The least surprising it is, aside from maybe some of our Tijuana friends that wanted them as their team, but I didn't see that. I didn't see the Diablos Rojos losing to the Xolos Squinkles. Sergio, anything to add for that game?
No, same thing. I think Xolos wasn't expected to advance, and Toluca played like a champion and like a second seed, and they played well, and they advanced.
There, good. All right. So it leads us with only 2 games, actually more than 2 games, but only 4 teams left. Finally, the semifinals. Obviously, the same rules apply as the last one. So, Leon, who has it tougher out of the teams that are not supposed to make it? So, first, I ask you guys your prediction. Will Leon advance, or just because it's my team, we'll just go with that one. Can they keep doing what they're doing, or is it going to be obviously Toluca and Santos Pachuca, obviously wait. Let me rewind. I'll start rewind. Am I right? Yeah, Toluca and Leon, right? Sorry about that.
Yep, that's right.
Sorry, Toluca and Leon. Let me start over on that. So that just leaves us with 4 teams. Obviously, Leon, Toluca. Who do you like? Obviously, Jason. Leon beats Cruz Azul. Are you sticking with Leon winning, beating Toluca, or are you going to go with Toluca? Finally taking down this guy that shouldn't have been in the top 8.
Toluca's a safer bet, but it could really go either way. It's going to be tight. You imagine this is going to be real close. Toluca plays most teams pretty tight. And Leon, like if they capitalize and grab their chances, it could really go either way. Toluca's the favorite, but I could see this coming right down to the wire, being really tense in those final minutes in that second leg.
Yes, yes. What about you, Sergio?
Same thing. I think Toluca had the worst draw, like Cruz Azul did, facing Leon now. I think if you're gonna say who's a safe bet to make the final, I think Santos has a clear, more easy path towards towards that final game.
The Santos Pachuca. So you're taking Toluca and Pachuca at the end, or are you
No,
gonna go
Toluca
Leon?
and Santos. I think Toluca and Santos make it to the end, but I think it's gonna be tough for Toluca. I think Leon will make them grind it out.
All right. Outside looking in, I think Leon, going into it, the good thing is that we're still not, we're still the underdogs, and I like that. I like Leon, being the underdog. It's like, can they do it again? But the minute that they have an advantage over whatever, I think that's where they crumble. Kind of like what Mexico is. It's like, it's funny. I think they're fighters. So I'm gonna go. Obviously, I'm gonna stick with Leon, just because it is my team. But I think the first leg is gonna it's gonna be huge, and to see where that's going. And then Santos, even though that's gonna be interesting, I don't. I'm not 100% sure in this one. I think I was a little more sure last time I gave it out that Santos would be America, and I was 4-0. But I really think it could go either way because of the worst defense. Santos, it's gonna be high scoring. But I'll go ahead, Santos and Leon in the final for me. And hopefully I'm
But Pachuca's so hot and cold. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see them having a game like they did against that second game against UNAM. So I think Pachuca was a one-hit wonder this liguilla.
But the thing is, like, think about that Santos defense and what Pachuca can do with the firepower they have. Like, there's going to be some goals in these games between Pachuca and Santos. Like, it's going to get a little crazy.
It's going to be another exciting weekend, and it starts pretty soon in a couple of days, and that's what's fun. You don't have to wait for the weekend. In football, you're like, oh, I got to wait for Sunday. Like, it comes in the middle of the week. That's what I love. All right, guys. Well, we touched on a lot of subjects today. Our Final 23, we went a little bit in La Volpe. We went into the Liga and the craziness. Our predictions, guys. Anything else to add before, obviously, we meet again next week? The El Tri and the Mexican national team is our passion, and that's why we're doing this. So anything else, guys, that you guys that we should be talking about for the Mexican soccer show? No, I don't think so. I think
Well, I'll say one thing then.
Okay.
I'll say one thing real quick. I said it 2 weeks ago. I put it in writing, and on May 9th, I will be vindicated, and Ochoa will not be on that final 23-man list.
That's going to be the number one story. That's going to be huge if that happens.
Not going to be on the list.
All right, Sergio keeps going with Ochoa not being on the list. You're crazy, man. Ochoa will be there. There's no way Ochoa's not going to go. It's
Just
like
a little bit.
even if gosh, if you don't
So
go because
you're
you're not
saying there's
going
a
to
chance?
start.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So I guess you're right. So you're telling me there's a chance. I think it'll be there. I think Gio will be there. I think Ochoa. I think everyone. There's not going to be that big of a shock. I'm telling you. I won't think.
No Toronto?
No, I don't think there's going to be like a big of a shock with Gio or Ochoa or anything like that. I think it's going to be sad that Guardado and Aquino are not going to make it. But at the same time, this is all us just speculating, and who knows what's going to happen. All right, well, guys, this has been another successful Mexican soccer show. We did miss, obviously, Johnny Rico in the middle of just kind of leaving because he forgot to charge his battery. So we'll work on him getting something. We definitely enjoy all of this. We hope you've enjoyed it, and as much as we have, please help us, spread the word by tweeting the link out to your friends, share it on Facebook, like it on the comments, trying to get this going, and hopefully doing a lot more when the World Cup comes. And we have a lot of great guys that are going out there. Really quickly, make sure you visit Soccer Mexicana. Jason does an amazing job. He has great little stories out there. He did an amazing article on the whole Liguilla. You have to check it out on the crazy family. That was hilarious, Jason. I was reading that on the crazy uncle and the mom and everything. It's pretty good. And also,
It got a little weird.
yeah, it did get a little weird. So you're at Soccer Mexicana, right, on Twitter? Best way?
That's right. Yep.
All right.
Find me, follow me, talk to me.
And then Sergio has probably the largest, probably the only group out there. If you go to LT Games, there's going to be 3 games in the U.S. And if you're going, definitely sign up for the Pancho Villa's Army. Just go to panchovillas.com, or you can go there at Pancho Villa on Twitter, right, Sergio?
It's at Villa's Army on Twitter.
Okay.
Pancho is a little bit too long for the Twitter handle, but at Villa's Army, and we're getting ready for Dallas. So get your stuff ready. If you're gonna go to Dallas, come link up with us. We'll have a pregame party, and there's about 350 of us that are gonna be there.
Yeah. So he makes it out. Usually, I see him at the games there when I travel, and it's great. It's a great experience if you're there, and just to meet a bunch of guys that know soccer, that know football, and obviously know Mexico. So sign up. The more people, the better. That way we can have togetherness at not just some craziness at the club at the stadium, but it was a lot of fun when I was with these guys. All right, guys, that does it for us. I am Wiso from foodmixsource.com, and let me know if you need anything, any questions you guys have out there. Definitely use the comments that we have here on YouTube, but also you can always email us or you can tweet us all your questions, and we'll try to answer them the best that we can, guys. It was a great show. See you guys on Friday for the list. For those that are going to be on, just repeating it again. Obviously, you're going to have Naive from Spain that is going to be on, and also Tom Marshall. He's in Guadalajara, and also Eric from Fox Deportes. He'll definitely be there, so it's going to be a great show on the list, guys. Hope everyone has a good day, and let's keep talking about El Tri out there. Have a great day.